while those last few songs were playing, the electrical engineer who was in here was asking me about that name, philosophical randomness and graceful spontaneity. Actually, that's my catchphrase of my show, and it made me remember last week I did promise that one of these weeks I would explain how I came up with the catchphrase philosophical randomness and graceful spontaneity. So at some point last semester, I was hanging around the studio trying to get some answers to questions that I had about the whole procedure here, and while I was doing so, I was emailing my mom and telling her that I was outside the studio trying to get answers to these questions, and so, and I had been thinking about names for my show, and I came up with one that I thought sounded nice, and so I said in the email, so what do you think of Just Another Wavelength for the name of my show? And she emailed back a while later and said, well, I like another wavelength, I'm just not sure what the word just adds to it. And I said, I tried to find this email, but I didn't quite find it in time for beginning to talk to you. But what I said in the email was, I think having the word just there, it gives the title sort of a certain philosophical randomness and graceful spontaneity. I mean, it's not just, it's kind of a humorous thing because you think it's my show, but it's not just it's not special. It's just another wavelength. It's not a unique wavelength or anything like that. It's just another wavelength. And so she emailed me back later and said, well, I mean, I actually like Just Another Wavelength now that you've explained it. And then she said, be sure to use the phrase philosophical randomness and graceful spontaneity in your broadcast because it's lovely, and I agreed. And so ever since then, my show has been Just Another Wavelength, the show with a certain philosophical randomness and graceful spontaneity. By the way, if you're not listening to me tonight, and if you're not listening to me tonight, you're not hearing me talk right now, but I am for the first time attempting to record this show on my flash drive. I've been recording it on CDs the last few weeks, but if I'm going to have a 2-hour show at some point, that'll be a bit too long to record on a single CD, so I'm going to have to be recording it on the flash drive, and so I think I have figured out how to record it on a flash drive. For those of you who don't know what a flash drive is, where have you been all these years? Anyway, you're listening to WHUS2. I'm Josh, and you probably know the name of my show if you've been listening for the last few minutes.